Last week I promised a studio tour, but that's gonna have to wait because the voting period for the next LVMH prize winner just opened on April 6th, and that's way more exciting. If you don't know, LVMH is the world's largest luxury conglomerate which owns brands such as Louis Vuitton and Dior. LVMH prize is a contest for young fashion designers, the winner of which receives a year of personalized mentoring from the LVMH group, plus a €300,000 grant to help them develop their brand with a focus on sustainable development, communication, as well as intellectual property and financial management. It is an incredible opportunity, and it's very obvious that absolutely every participant in that list of 20 semi-finalists is a very talented individual. Today, however, I'm not going to go through all of them, but instead will show you my top 8 choices for those who I think might become the next finalists for the 2021 LVMH prize. The voting window, by the way, is still open until April 11th, so you can also join in and vote for yourself via the link below. Keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion, so I highly encourage you to go and check out every designer after this video. Read their bios, watch through their videos and collections, and make an informed decision based on all of the information that you gather. First brand that I'm going to be talking about is called Kid Super. It's a sustainability focused brand from New York founded by Cole Delane. The main motto of the brand is this childlike wonder to make everything possible. The brand strikes as free-spirited, bright, joyful. They do collaborations and experiment with multiple ways of presentation, since the brand itself is led by a multimedia artist, which is very much evident because of the website, which looks like you entered the world of Minecraft. His work is just so wonderful and playful and colourful, which is always very refreshing, especially this look. Like, that is pretty much what I imagine my degree collection looking like from the first semester, and it completely shifts gears. I love how he works with this bold combination of primary colours. It's always very wonderful. This sweater, oh my god, the colour combination again, and the playful composition of the images on the front, it's very lovely to see. Also, oh my god, this jacket, I absolutely love it because the center front of it is not straight. It is replicating like a profile of a face, which creates this very interesting illusion. And then Kid Super also works throughout the whole outfit, so he doesn't only work with outerwear, sweaters and trousers, he also goes with shoes, which is always an interesting media to see a fashion designer work with. But again, he's not exactly a fashion designer, he's a multimedia artist, which is very evident from the way his Instagram is presented, like all those GIF animations, and he expresses his work in different areas of art as well. So like you can see a mural in here, and then this mural kind of goes into a outerwear puffer jacket that he created. So that's just lovely, very interesting, playful, joyful, fun, and it definitely kind of translates the message of the whole thing. And like, look, this presentation is amazing. I highly suggest you check out his website because it's an experience. It's not just a website, it's a full-on experience. Second brand is called Renaissance. Having a heritage of female couture designers has instilled in Cynthia Moresh the notions of quality, craftsmanship and details as true luxury. The ethos of her brand is to reclaim stereotypical codes of femininity and rework them for strong, ambitious and intelligent women who dress for themselves and nobody else. The designer grew up in Lebanon, where the fashion norm was to wear clothing based on what men found attractive, so everything Cynthia does now is a rebellion against that patriarchal structure. Right off the bat, what I can see is that the colour palette is mostly neutral, so blacks, whites, greys, nudes, off-white, and then striking red or a very gentle baby pink on the edge somewhere. I love how she's creating, like playing with the idea of femininity, what femininity means, and creating her own codes without it being very obvious or very straightforward. So she's working with dresses, she's working with jackets, outerwear, and adding those little gentle elements of those ties, for example, and introducing interesting ways of presentation in the media. The collection seems very cohesive, and the brand in itself has very clear message, very clear idea of what it wants to be, and I love the gathering details. I feel like they add a very interesting touch, and especially her translating her experience, creating new idea of what femininity means through her own eyes. It's very interesting to see how the combination of something very traditional, I would say, maybe like a jacket or something, is contrasted with small little details, with very gentle touch of femininity and what it means to be feminine. I feel like it is very different for each person, and I love her viewing of it, so it's very interesting. I highly suggest you go and check out her Instagram. It is a twist on some classics, a twist on something simple with a beautiful open back or a gather. Like, I love her brand. Third is Rue. The brand aesthetic lies somewhere in between fragility and strength, which is evident in the juxtaposition of delicacy and tension in their garments. Surrounded by mountains and trees, the designer Rougeau is influenced by environment, Buddhism and wabi-sabi Japanese aesthetic. The designer describes her work as a second layer of skin, with great appreciation for asymmetry, irregularity and imperfections. I think I found her brand maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, and right off the bat what caught my attention was this idea of tension. In this bodysuit specifically, you can see as if the body is ripping it apart from the sides and it's tearing it apart. So it plays in with the idea of that they have expressed the tension with gentleness. Like, it works pretty well. I love how it's expressed in different colors, and throughout the collections this idea is expressed in multiple ways. It translates a completely different feel from what you can see. The collections change, the material kind of stays the same, but it goes through multiple different alterations. So this seems to be a very intricate knitwear pattern, and they are exploring different fields of expressing the same idea, which is very interesting. The tops themselves layered over the bodysuits, layered over the stockings. It creates a lot of visual interest throughout the pieces that they are creating. So I wouldn't have thought of that myself, and it's very lovely. Especially I love how it's shown on different body types as well. Everyone can see a representation of themselves from the media that they consume, and I feel like it just adds even more visual interest where you see different people and different ways of styling it. So I absolutely love her brand. I feel like it's super playful as well, just like Kid Super, but in a very contrasting, very different way, but in itself already expresses a very interesting and clear and wonderful and playful, confident emotion of a female beauty. It's just gorgeous. The next brand is Shooting True. The identity of the brand is described by the designer as modern romantic. Her work exists in the state of constant contrast: bold colors and soft shapes, strong silhouettes and joyful prints, gentle details and recycled beads. So Shooting True works a lot with print, mostly with print actually, and from the first glance, probably with this look for example, you would think that there's way too much happening, but I don't think that is the case. Yes, there is a bunch of floral prints, yes there are checkers, there are another smaller version of the floral print on the stockings, but I feel like it is all balanced out due to the choice of material and colour. So the stockings are a little sheer, a little transparent, and the print placement is way smaller. Then yes, the jacket in itself, or a vest I think, it has a larger version of the print and there are checkers, but because the florals are larger than the checker elements, it balances everything out because the color is muted, because the prints are larger than the checkers, and composition wise I feel like it works very well, and that seems to be what Shooting True is very great at. She's balancing elements that should be overloaded but they aren't, and it's very refreshing to see as well, because that is something I myself usually gravitate towards when I look for new designers. I dress way more muted now just because I don't have my clothes, but my taste is usually something more overloaded, layered, printed, crazy, and I feel like that's very much the case with a lot of fashion students. We usually go for something overloaded and then you can always tone it down, but I am in love with her brand. I feel like it's very joyful. I feel like that's kind of the motto with all of the brands that I've gone through so far. All of them are playful, beautiful, layered, but in their own very unique, very exciting way. Our fifth brand for today is Dark. Takue Morikawa was inspired by dreams and reality and the ambiguous borderline where the two meet for his latest collection. Tak's design motto is always pushing for innovation while striving to make fundamentally meaningful clothes. I'm not huge into menswear, and at first glance I wasn't really like super visually interested in it, just because like menswear is not something I'm very much gravitated towards usually, but as soon as you start looking into the details of his work, and especially I suggest you go check out his video on the LVMH website, you start noticing so many intricate details that he put into his textiles, which is very beautiful, and it shows that he has worked in textile field before, and he talks about that in his video. But the first thing that caught my eye so much was a version of a jacket that you saw in the start of his segment. It was green. I have no idea how it's created, and maybe I'm so intrigued because I study fashion, but it feels like the jacket was firstly sewn with very huge bulky seams and then printed with the color over top. So the base of that jacket probably was white and then it was printed over top, and this creates so much visual interest. Like, it looks like it's a trompe-l'oeil pocket, but in reality there is an existing pocket and there is an existing seam, which creates so much depth to a traditionally very basic maybe jacket. But this looks so cool. I mean, I highly suggest you go check out his video because there are so many different interesting jackets in there as well. This one, if I'm not mistaken, it's a denim jacket that goes into cotton, which you can tuck into your trousers. And in that video, the looks that he's created with those very interesting, very delicate twists to traditional outfits is what makes the outfits so interesting. It's so cool, incredible, detail-oriented, lovely. Next up is WED, a women's wear brand based in London, led by Amy Trent and Evan Phillips. The brand began with a strong ethos of dismantling the current fashion narrative of disposable dress worn for a single event at a wedding, as they started as bridal wear company. I found WED Studios a few years ago as well, and I think my first introduction was through this checkered dress. Yeah, this one. I fell in love with it immediately. Felt like it was created out of leftover pieces, and upon reading the description I actually found that it was. They're trying to cut down on their waste, which is a message I'm 100% supporting all the time. This is wonderful, amazing. I feel like, again, the connection, this is an interesting twist on waste waste management in your company because they're creating so many unique, beautiful pieces with a traditional maybe patchwork technique or just using leftover pieces. They are introducing bridal wear into regular women's wear fashion, and it's very interesting how the twist of you would usually think of extravagant gowns, it introduces a unique perspective to women's wear. I love their bags. They're very much keen on creating new interesting bags, and that's always super cool to see, because I feel like when fashion designers shift their perspective from clothing that they've been working on into something alternative like shoes and bags, it creates a very interesting medium for you to work and explore a completely different 3D system of working, if that even makes sense. So I love how they work with everything. It's gorgeous. Number 7 is Charles de Bilmoron. The brand talks about hope and freedom as its main message. The designer wants to express positivity, sincerity, openness through his work, which is reflected in a choice of colors, hand-drawn expressive prints, playful silhouettes, and an interest in surface design. Now, his work is just flat out crazy in the best way possible. I love the expressiveness of his work, especially like those are all hand-drawn. Can you imagine? He used Chinese ink, if I'm not mistaken, and drew all of the paneling, all of the prints, all of the drawing. It's wonderful. Obviously, like the silhouette is the most intriguing part of this, but apart from the print, and the way he works with textures is wonderful. Like this paneling is so crazy, so playful, and the silhouette is mainly what drives this. Usually, like, some designers would go for either print or texture or silhouette, or mix maybe two of those together, and Charles just mixes everything, and this creates such a beautiful mess. I absolutely love it. Like, it's a craziness in the best way possible. Amazing to see designers break the norm, break the fold. Like, typically you would just scroll through Instagram, be bored at some point, and then you just suddenly see something like this is definitely going to catch your eye and you're going to be interested. And the last but definitely not least is a brand I've raved about since last year, my list of 12 young British fashion designers, which you can check out over there. It's Nensi Dojaka. The message of the brand is to create clothes that stand the test of time, both in terms of creativity and in quality. The emphasis is on empowering women with the help of their beautiful figure-hugging pieces that reveal the body in the most gentle way possible. Her work has only gotten better. Those sharp, crisp edges of semi-transparent tulle, whatever it's made out of, looks so gentle, so beautiful, and I love how she's introducing something more structural, more strong to the collection as well. And I love the paneling, I love the layering. Again, I guess that's just the theme of my style preference, but the layers of sheer tulle, sheer paneling kind of creates the idea of that you are expecting to maybe see a nipple just because you know that it's supposed to be there, but because of the layers it's hidden, and it creates this sort of beautiful, gentle illusion. I love the color combination. I feel like the idea of a nude color has been so problematic throughout the years, just because there were 2-3 types of nude and people with darker skin tones were not able to find something that would match them. Her color choice is just a mixture of a bunch of nudes, a little bit of black, a little bit of very kind of greenish brown, and I feel like it suits everyone. It will probably go with every skin tone, with every body shape, and the collection in itself is so gentle, so sexy, so feminine without being vulgar. That's the key message I guess I would portray, and I'm saving up to have a dress of hers because I just love how it all looks. It's just gorgeous, amazing, wonderful, beautiful, perfect in my opinion. Now, can you guess who I voted for? I feel like it's quite obvious. It's Nensi Dojaka. I've been following her work for a while and I absolutely love everything she makes. I feel like she's incredibly talented, just like every person on that list, of course, but I will personally be rooting for her. I voted for her, and you yourself can make your own decision. Go ahead and vote if you're watching this video at the time of its release, and if it has already been out, go ahead and maybe comment who you thought would win or who you were rooting for and voting for. Good luck for every designer in the future. I hope they make it. I hope even those who don't win still get a chance to have a really good exposure out of this LVMH competition, because I usually find a lot of new designers through this contest. So good luck to them and see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.